Ava,
I'm Kendall.
and welcome to Amplifying Student Voices.
Today we're going to talk about OSD at AVC.
And we're going to go over their job descriptions and how they help out students with IEPs.
Hi, I'm Ava.
I'm Kendall.
Hi, Ava and Kendall. My name is Carlos Rosas. I'm the Director of Office for Students with Disabilities at Antelope Valley College, AVC. I'm happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Maricela Rubalcaba. I'm the Learning Disabilities Testing Technician at AVC.
Okay, thanks. To start, can you tell us a little bit about your role at AVC OSD and what inspired you to work in this field?
That's a good question. My background is in counseling, so I'm a trained counselor. I have a master's in rehabilitation counseling. And so I've been working with individuals with disabilities half of my career. And what inspired me to actually be a college counselor was because I used to work for a college as a student assistant or student worker during my college days. And I was able to get a position as a student worker assisting a blind counselor at the time. And his name is Frank Booth. And he was just so inspiring to me that I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And, just the way he spoke to students and to people and everyone around him wanted to be like, I want to see Frank Booth. I want to see Frank Booth. And so I learned a lot from him, just being courageous and fearless. And this is a person that, when you're blind, you usually have someone with you that assists you, walking you, but he didn't like that. He didn't want anyone to help him go to a different office or like to the restroom. He would do it all on his own, which is amazing in itself. And he would use public transportation. He would get to the college by himself sometimes if he didn't even have a ride to the campus. So that's what inspired me. And so that trajectory led me to getting a bachelor's in sociology from Cal State LA. And then I stayed at the same university and got my master's in rehabilitation counseling.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, I was introduced to Office for Students with Disabilities when I got a job in the counseling center, actually. I also worked in the counseling center, but I was a clerical assistant. And actually, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Jessica Eaton, actually encouraged me to apply when the position opened for a learning disability testing technician. And she said, I see how you work. I see you like to help people. I think you would be perfect for this role. And so I took a shot, and here I am 16 years later, still working in the Office for Students with Disabilities. It has been incredibly rewarding. We have a wonderful staff that, we just collaborate so well. So I'm very happy, and I love seeing students succeed despite their challenges, despite their disabilities. So
Can you explain the mission of AVC Office for Students with Disabilities and why it's essential for students' success?
yes, so our program is designed to provide students equitable access to education. So we provide support services that directly relate to their functional limitations. Again, despite their disability, they're able to be successful in college, take classes, and we're there to support along the way.
Yeah, and I'm going to add to that. And Maricela said equitable access, so meaning that students have an equal access to education, no matter the challenge, right? So our mission is to always make that access available in forms of approving academic accommodations, and I'm sure we'll get to that. But that's and collaboration with other offices and departments to make sure that we're liaisoning with everyone that needs to be connected with our office so students can be successful.
Yeah. Okay. What kinds of services and accommodations does OSD provide for students?
So they are tailored not every student is the same. Each one has their own needs.
Mhm.
And so some of the accommodations we provide are sign language interpreters, we have scribes, we have readers. We also have a reading program, K3000. We also have students can get accessible seating.
Does the priority registration work?
That's a good question. Yeah.
You would answer that.
I can try. So priority registration, the way it works, when you're first coming in as a student, you will have access to a lot of different resources on campus that actually provide you with priority registration. So that being said, if a student comes to our office and says, I want to be part of the Office for Students with Disabilities, then they will be able to get priority registration as part of being our office. So number one, there's still some things that the student must do in terms of getting to that point of priority registration. Again, apply to AVC or apply to a community college, get their 900 number or their student ID number, and then they have to do orientation online. It's like a short, maybe 10-20 minute online orientation. You check the box and you learn about AVC and the resources. So once those things are set in motion and be part of a program such as OSD, Office for Students with Disabilities, EOPNS, or any other program that offers priority registration, then the student will get flagged in having priority registration.
Can you walk us through the process of how students get connected with OSD and access different resources?
Yeah, absolutely. So how students get connected, we have, resources such as different high schools in the area that reach out to us and say, hey, how do we connect our students who are transitioning to AVC and they want to be part of your office? They have an IEP, they have a verification of disability. So number one is students will reach out to our office directly. And then we get them set up. We give them all the information that they need in order to come in and do an initial counseling appointment or intake, as we call it. Or, how else they can get connected to us is they can call our office, ask for information. They can email our general email. It's just in a lot of different ways. And so the way other resources on campus for students is we also recommend and advise students of other resources on campus, such as Extended Opportunity Program and Services, which is EOPNS, which is another great resource for students. And there's requirements for those, but that's another great resource where they offer academic counseling, book voucher for students who need a little extra funds to pay for the books, and other things that they offer. Computer lab, right? So we do our best in our office to do a one-stop shop type of deal, and we assist students in locating other resources. Another great resource is if students really want to get involved in the campus community, is we refer them to the Associate Student Office, which is the student body government of the college. That's another resource. We have programs like Emoja, Mesa, Puente, which are all academic-based resources as well, and there's a ton of things within those departments.
How does OSD help students transition from high school to college to prepare for transferring into the university?
Oh, good question. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically we do host an orientation. So we work with folks here at the high school. We always have a transition specialist that'll contact us kindly, like Robert. Yes, it does a wonderful job in reaching out, and so we build a bridge basically, right, to build together and try to share information how our students can be successful. So at the orientation, we have our own little orientation. That's where we provide a lot of information. And that's where other resources, like Carlos was saying, that we do refer students to, and especially like we recommend first year experience because they do provide a mentor as well. But again, it's a one-stop shop in the OSD office. So we have our own counselors, and they're also very versed in the transfer process. So if a student, whether they want to get a certificate or want to transfer, we have counselors available that can provide that information and help them build an educational plan where they can stay on track and take the classes that they need.
Yeah. Do you have like a success story or like a memorable moment that highlights the impact of OSD on a student's life?
Yes, actually, I'm gonna say the most impactful one was, I remember this student, a young lady, her name is Marlene, and she came in very frustrated because she wasn't completing her exams in the allotted time in the classroom. And she said, "It takes me so long. What can I do?" At the time, we had a learning disability specialist, and students were able to get assessed for a learning disability. And so we were able to assess her, and she qualified. And so she was able to receive extended time on exams. She was able to record her lectures and so forth. So that really helped her be successful. She just needed that little extra time to complete because it took her time to process the information and answer her questions. So after she graduated, she actually went to work for Northrop or Boeing. I can't remember, but she ended up even working at NASA. She completed her bachelor's in aircraft manufacturing technology. We do have a bachelor's program now. And so she was in the first class for that too. And she continued working and actually got her credentials to teach. So now she actually teaches one of the composites class for aircraft manufacturing.
That is
Wow.
awesome.
That's great. Yeah, she
That
went from
is-
like, having these challenges and now she's teaching a class. So that's a really
Yeah.
good success story. So
And it's wonderful because she can understand students who are in her place too,
Yeah.
that might have some learning challenges, and she's able to give the best advice, right, and support
Yeah.
Wow.
to help
Mhm.
other students continue. Yeah.
Yeah. For students who are unsure about needing accommodations, what steps would you accommodate they take for exploring their options?
I'll take that one. I say that still come to our office and make an appointment to see a counselor if they're unsure. Students are unsure. I mean, a lot of students that I've seen in my career sometimes are scared or like afraid, or they don't want to be labeled or stigmatized because you've been in special education classes in high school or elementary school. So we try to remove that barrier, that stigma. And so we still say, hey, come on in, show us whatever verification you have, and we'll talk about your options. So I want to clarify this. So every student that comes into our office doesn't necessarily use all their academic accommodations, which is great, because we tell them, well, that's okay. If you don't need it right now, come to our office. If you get verified and approved for all these academic accommodations, they are there for you to use them whenever you want. So, I've seen students come in and say, "Oh, I just want to be part of your program, but I don't need to send my accommodations to my professors for this semester. I'm okay." But then I'll have that same student come the following semester say, "Oh, I need to record my lecture. I do need the extra time." And we work with those students who do that all the time, and it's fine. So we always advise, hey, it's okay. Let's do this as a precaution, just in case. But it's up to you as a student to use those academic accommodations.
Yeah. What misconceptions do people often have with students with disabilities that work the work that OSC does?
Misconceptions. Wow. That Well, if can I be honest? It's
Yeah.
like that they can't, they don't learn as fast.
Yeah.
Misconceptions of, are they going to be able to complete a certain class, right? Well, if the student was, in special education classes before, how are they, it's just, and I've worked with professors too, is like, well, this student has a learning disability. I'm afraid they may not make the class. And I always tell them, like, you can't assume. You have to let the student at least try. There are options for them to drop the class if they need to. We have a great tutoring center at AVC, and most colleges do have tutors available for students. So, like I said, there's resources there. So misconception to laziness, not paying enough attention. But those are just quite a few misconceptions that I've seen. But we always try to kind of squash all of that when professors reach out to us. And my job as a director is to make sure that there's no discrimination or assumptions made from like with students with disabilities, because that's another misconception, is that if they say, oh, this student has a disability, but I don't see them limping, I don't see them moving in different ways or shapes or forms.
Mhm.
And I have to say, well, this student might have an invincible disability that you may not know of. And that's another beauty part, is beauty part about our program is we always advise students, is like, you don't need to share your disability with anyone in your class or your professor if you don't want to. Just because we send the student sends the their accommodation letter to the professor, doesn't have any of the details on there, right?
Mhm.
So we always ensure that to protect the students, like, don't share what you don't want to share, but if you want to, that's great. But to go back to your question, yeah, those are some misconceptions
Yeah.
that we try to squash. Yeah.
That's good.
What advice would you give a student that is hesitant to seek help or accommodations?
I would remind them that it's okay to ask for help. It is a collaborative effort. College is not easy, but you can be successful if you find the resources or find the people that can help you, and there's my office, I have to say it, our office is, I'm going to say, the best on campus. We have a wonderful team that are always willing to help. And so if we can't find the answer, we can definitely direct you to where you can find the answer and support that you need.
What's one thing you wish every student with a disability knew about OSD?
That we are here to help. That we are here. Again, I always, when I meet with students, I say, this is home base. I want this to be your home base. Anything that's happening, even if it's in the cafeteria, there's an incident, or you're not sure about something, you can come reach out to us and see us, because we can definitely help you find the resources or the support.
You're like, this is your home.
Yes,
you can come
exactly.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, no question is too big, too small.
Mhm.
Our office, like Maricela said, is there to answer. Even if a student's unsure why they are in our office, we always try to provide them and guide them in the right direction. And going back, what was your question? What
What do you wish one thing that every student with a disability would know about OSD?
Well, I know Maricela is there. We're there to help, but I want students to know that it doesn't matter what type of disability you have. It really doesn't. Are you guys familiar with the man who lived in the iron lung for I think it was 70 in the 70s or 80s? I forget his name, and that's a great example of a person who he lived in an iron lung. And so the iron lung is like this big old tank device that helps a person breathe, because he had polio. And so he ended up getting his law degree. And that's amazing. Like, he had no fear, he didn't care, and he had no use of his arms, right? So he would type, he would get a pen and like type with his mouth, right? So I want students to be fearless. I want them to know, like, hey, again, and like I said before, if you don't need the academic accommodations in a specific right now or like during that particular semester, they're still going to be there, no matter what. But just to be fearless. Yeah.
Lastly, looking ahead, what are some upcoming projects at AVC OSD that you're excited about?
Well, I'm going to share my piece and
Yeah,
then you
yeah,
can
you
share yours. I am part of what's called Students on the Move, and it's a graduation luncheon that we provide for our students who are part of OSD, EOPS, CalWorks, and the STAR program. So we collaborate and create this beautiful celebration because we know that they went through some challenges, you know, and so we want to celebrate their success, that they reach their goal and they're able to complete that degree and that certificate. So it is by invite only that we provide this, and it's always on campus usually.
Yeah.
And so it's closer to the graduation ceremony, the all campus graduation, but we have our own little private ceremony for our students. So
Oh,
yes,
that's great.
Yeah. Well, that's beautifully said. I
Yes.
mean, so our program is unique because we do collaborate with a lot of other programs and initiatives and projects to help just our general student population. And so what we do is they collaborate with us in terms of when a student has an accommodation. Hey, a student needs a ASL sign language interpreter for an event. So they reach out to us, coordination with our ASL coordinator, right? So there's always different dynamics going on and different things. And if I'm say what projects, initiatives, part of my job is to ensure that we have enough funds, we have enough staff, you know, and we also hire student workers on campus who kind of help us a lot and move the office forward every day. So without them, I don't think we can function and do the
true.
things that we can do. So we're very grateful for our student workers. So, you know, those are all, you know, all the dynamics and initiatives and projects that are ongoing on my side of the field. Yeah.
That's really nice.
Pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming here and talking with us.
I loved all your stories.
Oh, thank you. No, this
Thank
was
you.
fun.
really
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting us.
So I have one thing to say. I kind of said this to be fearless a little while ago, but for those who are interested in going to community college, I think it's going to be one of the best experiences. No matter if you go from high school to a 4-year, and if you choose to go to community college, I want to say this and hope this message gets across. I'm a community college product myself, and I had the best experience. And it's going to be hard. I'm going to say that going to a 2-year college is probably going to be one of the hardest, most challenging things a student can do. It's a very different experience from a 4-year, but I think that those challenges and experiences will prepare you to transfer to a 4-year university. So if you're on the fence of saying, oh no, I don't want to go to a 2-year, that's kind of like high school. It's not like high school. It is going to be a challenge, and it does prepare you for the real world and prepares you to transfer to a 4-year university. So for those of you who are thinking about it, don't think too hard. You know, that's why these community colleges are there to prepare students. And also don't be shy to come into our office. And if you think you can qualify for a program, please visit your, your nearest disability office if you're going to any college or university.
So what do you think you learned from that conversation?
Well, from the whole conversation, like learning about like how they have like this big like community just for disabilities is like heartwarming
Yeah.
for like those who like really need it, and
Yeah.
they can just come and like get the support they need.
It
But-
really makes me feel better. Like, it's less as a scary thought now, and
Yeah.
it's more like, okay.
Yeah, like people can just come and take it in and embrace like their disabilities than like hiding them and being afraid of them.
Yeah. And then the asking for questions too, like, asking for questions is like such a hard thing. And to know that it's like a safe space and that you're supposed to was really nice to hear.
Yeah. What was your favorite part from the whole thing?
I think them sharing their reasons on why they wanted to go into this field and their success stories with students, like that really like warmed my heart.
I would say the same. Like her story with how the woman
Yeah.
was struggling through high school
And now she works for
everything.
NASA.
Yeah,
And a
and-
teacher.
Yeah,
That was really nice to
like
hear.
people can overcome anything.
Yeah. That was really good to hear because I want to be a nurse. So hearing that somebody could be working for NASA and a teacher, like that was amazing.
Yeah.